We've made a wrong turn, and Courtney has drugged me and stuffed me in a hole, and she's occasionally feeding me this finest risotto I've ever had. This is the Wrong Turn podcast. All right. Hey, Court, did I give it away?
I mean, it's okay. There's
Today we are talking about John in the Hole from 2021, starring Michael C. Hall, uh, Charlie Shotwell, Jennifer Ely, and Tiza Farmiga. I mean, this one of the posters was just like I was like, oh, this looks like I don't know, like a zombie movie or something like that. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then some of the other ones was like, oh, this kind of it kind of gives the vibe of the movie a little bit much better than some of the other posters. So I'm like, okay. And it does have a vibe. It has a very particular vibe. But before
four.
we get into that, Courtney, what have we been watching? Anything interesting lately?
So, a couple of things I wanted to say is that I've finally seen. I haven't seen Sinners. Sorry, I know you have. You can get into that. But I finally saw Final Destination Bloodlines, and I
Let's
loved
talk
it.
about it.
I loved it. I think that or what's a good word? Like it really got the newer generation going on everything that was Final Destination for us. Like especially with their marketing and stuff like that. I felt like people it was just really it was kind of cute to see people really get into it and I liked it. I thought the deaths were fun and creative and I'm here for more Final Destination.
I was hating on it a little bit. There was a couple things I did like it at the beginning, but then the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like it. Um, Deaths are fun. The deaths are ornate. It did have some great moments in it. I thought there was maybe like a little too much CG, but then you were telling me about how they were doing practical effects on top of the CG, or practical effects with CG on top, and then so like that whole trash crushing sequence, which was partially practical, is like, oh, it looks amazing. I wish they could have just kept that. It looked so much better. Um, but like, all right, I do like the reboot. Or I do like how it's integrated into the bigger arc of Final Destination storyline, right? Like might be the OG Final Destination storyline, right? That kind of spun off to all the other ones, possibly, because maybe all the other movies and all the other people in those movies aren't supposed to exist, possibly. That's fine. I like it. No problem there. But the CG was just a little too much for me. I'm like, I don't need this much CG in my horror movie. Especially coming to like the final scene, like and people just getting like knocked off left and right. But the other thing that really got to me was that the main character, what was her name? Wait, what's the character's name? Stephanie. Her name was Stephanie, right?
Not Clear River. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't there a clear? Oh, I think that was in one of the other movies, like
She was
Clear River
the
Mental.
blonde chick in the first and second one, where you thought her name was Claire, and then later on, wait, her name's Clear River.
The whatchamacallit, the Stephanie is not a great protagonist. Lets everybody die. She saves nobody.
Mm-hmm.
She just comes across like much like Devin Sawa in the first one. He was saving people, even if it was just for the short term. So I'm like, oh, people are just getting knocked off. This is just, you
Yeah,
know, Rube Goldberg slasher for lack of a better term. But I'm just like, it's
and
I was hoping for some people to get saved in the meantime and then like them come back, but like no, people are just getting knocked off left and right, and there was literally no saving anybody at any point in the movie. I'm like,
and
but
you know what? Yes, that is like the one critique I've heard, and I get it. And maybe it's like they went a little too like, hey, how creative we can get with these deaths. That's what the people want. Which there's truth to that, but yeah, you're right. Like at some point, you're like, no, but it is nice to like see them fight for like people that they care about.
no, that's what we're here for. We're here for like the death scenes, 100%. And I thought some of these were okay. I actually did like the grandma one at the beginning,
Yeah.
the big disaster scene in the beginning of the film kind of had me because like heights, like I'm not afraid of heights, but like my body has a reaction to heights where it's just like my body, like my knees give out at certain heights, which is kind of a weird thing. 'Cause I'm not really afraid of heights. Just it's just
I
the my gut reaction to just like, oh.
I mean, I definitely used to be like a big amusement park girl, like roller coasters and like thrill rides and stuff like that. But I like was thinking about that. I haven't been on any of those kind of things in years, like big ones in years. So I'm like, would I actually handle it as well as I did when I was like 19? I don't know. I think I might be like, get me off this. I mean, there isn't an amusement park in this one. I'm speaking of just like you're talking about heights.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Because just because of the building.
yeah.
I mean,
The heights in the building of the new Final Destination movie.
that's the one of the best things about the movies, right? They draw on everybody's like communal fear
Correct.
of like these situations, right? These that height, the plane, the log, the
The
truck,
amusement park, the bridge.
amusement park.
The
I
only
can't
one
even
that
tell
was
you how
kind
many
of
times, yeah, like I've gotten onto like a roller coaster and think it's gonna like I don't think it's gonna like fall apart. I always think I'm just gonna fly off, is what it
I
is.
always think yes that like for some reason my harness on the ride is going to be like done today and then I'm gone.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. What were we gonna say before I cut you?
Oh,
Sorry.
I was gonna say the only one that I thought like for Final Destination one is there's the one where they go to the NASCAR or like the NASCAR race, and that's
Yeah.
like I mean I guess yeah people go see car crashes, but I that's never been a real I've never been to one first of all, so it's never been like a communal fear. I won't be scared to go to
That's
one either.
no, that's yeah, actually yeah, that's a good point. Maybe that's why it's not the most
Yeah,
successful one.
it's like
I think that's always rated at the lowest for
yeah.
everybody. Yeah. I mean like no 100% like I mean yeah, building collapsing, yeah, that is scary as shit.
Hmm.
And I think of that a lot more about getting hit by a tire at a NASCAR race. But yeah.
For sure, it's something that's never crossed my mind, and I was like, oh well, I've never been to a NASCAR.
But it's I just hope I was like you said, like I'm glad this got released, glad it reinvigorated the franchise. It's not a bad addition to the franchise. I don't hate it. Yeah, I probably will rewatch it. So that's a testament to the movie. And I just hope that it just sparks off more Final Destinations. How are they going to integrate it? I don't know.
That's
Like I
true.
don't even know.
Like they can't
Like
be
and I
all wild like they kind of did with this one. But you know, and rightfully so. R.I.P. Tony Todd. I think you heard all around that like his monologue was like from him, and he was obviously going through cancer and all that during the filming of this, and it was
he's so skinny.
fantastic that he came back for this one because he was such a crucial part of the first and second one. But the first one, yeah, like I wish more of the Final Destinations would have taken him and he would have been like this lingering death character. Um, but he's fantastic. So RIP to him, and it was wonderful to see him being his creepy ass self in the best way.
Oh no, it was poignant. It was like it hit all the feels. Like last performance, he was so skinny that I
He
was just like,
was
oh
alarmingly, yeah, and that's when you're kind of
yeah.
like, oh yeah, he was really battling.
I was like, say that's like not old age skinny. That's like, yeah, that is like frail skinny.
Yeah, and he still showed up. He still showed up for everyone that knows that he's such an important part of Final Destination.
And we got a background story for his character.
Yeah,
You know, like apparently he was the little boy at the beginning of the movie. You know, he wasn't supposed to exist, but you know. Also, this is gonna sound very boomer of me, but just like if this generation had only listened to the generation before, they would have survived. Hood.
you kids gotta listen to us.
You gotta listen to your grandparents because
Listen
we
to your
made it
elders.
this
Like
far.
we know shit. You might think we're annoying and like we're being trying to be controlling. We're not. Like we have lived through experience.
Tony Todd and the grandma lived like, were able to make it to that age until Stephanie came in and fucked shit up for everybody.
God damn it, Stephanie, you bitch.
I know a lot of Stephanies and I don't like any of them.
Oh my god, me too.
You're
Interesting.
like,
Interesting. You know when a name ruins like or a person ruins a name for you?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
No, that's not true because I have a coworker now named Stephanie. She's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
But still,
she's
you know
fine.
what I mean when there's people that ruin names for you.
No, 100%. No, no, 100%. And Min can attest to this too because she knows a lot of the same people I do, and she could be like, "Yep, these several people were not not great. They all happen to have the same name."
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
All right. So you haven't watched Sinners,
No.
so then I'm not going to talk about Sinners that much.
I want to mention one more thing before you start your rant, which I'm
Go for it.
excited for. But I watched this really ridiculous movie, and like I low key kind of wanted to do a whole episode on it, but then I watched it and I was like, no, 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 Edgar would be like livid with me. It's called Aqua Slash, and it's about a killer water slide.
I think I saw something. I was like, "Yep, we're doing everything now."
I mean after I watched it I was like this is really it's not anything exciting, and I knew like you would be like I'll watch it but you weren't going to be very like pleased with it cuz the last 25 minutes are the only thing that's like worthwhile as far as like the actual slashing, cuz like other than that it's just your typical horny teens just graduated high school and they're partying in a water park and you know shit some there's yeah, but
Yeah, and
nonetheless,
I'm okay
I
with
thought it was
that.
like
Okay.
a fun summer movie, horror slash movie. If you've got an hour, it's not long,
Okay.
and it was on
Okay.
Tubi.
Hmm.
So you're looking it up, like, and it wasn't as bad as like I actually thought it was going to be. It's actually like the cinematography of it was pretty well done. It's pretty well directed. The acting's pretty stale though.
Okay. The not bad. What is it called one more time?
Aqua Slash.
Actually, that's a pretty good title.
Pretty good title. And like, sorry, I'm gonna ruin it for everyone. It's not like it's that big of a deal here, but it's basically blades get put into the water slides, and then people are going down the water slides.
Percent. That is
Like,
amazing.
hello.
Just based on that rating alone, just like when something's that low, you're like, oh, I have to watch it now. Like 14%.
It's only an hour and 11 minutes. You have time to just put it on in the background. And like I said, the last
Okay.
20 minutes, you'd be like, okay, let me pay attention a little bit more.
I know I saw some other stuff, but other than Clown in the Cornfield, I know it's based on a YA novel. Not bad. Some really good death scenes. Not a bad story. I got a little confused with a little bit of the ending as far as like villains were concerned. But you haven't watched, so I don't want to spoil anything for you in case you want to watch it. It's not bad, guys. I think there might be more. I'm here for, our preteen horror movies that
Yeah.
introduce, new horror movies to the youngs. Even though the death scenes were like pretty like on point. Like I was like, oh, this isn't made for this might be like a high school or a YA novel, but these kids are getting murdered. I was just like with a capital F. I was like, all right, that made me stay for it. But wasn't not a bad watch. Entertaining first time around.
Okay.
The saw Prom Queen from Netflix, Fear Street. I don't know if you'd watched that one yet. I
I
was
can't remember.
excited about this. Yeah, I think it just kind of came and went. I was
Yeah.
like, not great for Fear Street because the first three Fear Streets were pretty good. Even the one that was I think rated the lowest was still very decent, and they had really good actors and really good characters. But this one just seemed like more like an episode of TV than an actual full movie. Yeah, wasn't thrilled all around. Like death scenes were fine, but like if you want to like I regularly think about the three Fear Streets that came out a few years ago, and I'm like there were some really really good death scenes that was really really surprising how well it was done. This one's okay. Hopefully they'll make some more. And damn. And then I did watch Sinners, and it was so worth the wait,
You can touch on it.
Courtney.
It's okay. I'm going to see it. Like you don't have to obviously
No,
spoil anything.
it's like I'm glad I didn't watch any of the trailers. I went to it completely blind. It was just a really well written movie, done really, really well. And they just happen to have some horror elements into it. And it feels like more like a drama. I think maybe that's why it is so good. It just like it's the horror is just sprinkled in. I like people are like, oh, this is a horror movie. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah, sort of. It's got horror elements, but it is really just like a movie about family, like all in all. And then some people were complaining that they had given too much, or like you guys they were doing all the things. And I was like, yeah, like if the director doesn't get to do this again, he left everything on the table. Like there can't like I feel like at the end of the day he gave so much story, there was nothing left to give. Like yeah, and people were talking about like maybe they'll do a second one. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm here for that too. But if you only get one chance, like he gave it looked like he gave it everything with like little extra, post credit scenes, little music video at the end. I'm like, you got
Why wouldn't you?
just why wouldn't you? This is your passion project. Like you
Yeah,
can feel the love you had for this.
if you have this opportunity and yeah, it's your passion project, why wouldn't you be like, no, I'm gonna do everything?
You gave the audience so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I want to watch it again. My friend, I think, just watched 28 Days Later. I've been hearing okay reviews, so
I've been hearing things.
I don't know. You know what? Just something about it like just didn't excite me. I wasn't. I don't know why, but now I'm like less excited. But maybe I'll like it. You never know.
True, true. You can't try not to. We always try not to judge too much, especially with these obviously additions to classics. But yeah, I've definitely been hearing some things about this.
Yeah. All right. Watch anything else? Oh no, I think that's what I was gonna do. I think I'm gonna try to introduce more books into our feed.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do more.
Because I'm constantly moving around a lot, and I always got a book, always got a horror book on hand. I finally was able to go through the book that the TV show Mindhunter was based on, which is called Mindhunter. Did you ever watch that series on Netflix?
No, but I've heard a lot about
Well, you and Ming both haven't watched it, and I'm like, you guys would love it, especially Ming with all of her true crime. So it's basically the book is just the real life case studies of when FBI profilers and how they would come across profiling serial killers so they can prevent the next one or they can catch the ongoing ones and whatnot. And then the TV show kind of develops one of these characters, not the main guy who wrote the book, but I think one of his proteges. And it's done by who's the guy who did David Fincher?
it.
So it looks awesome. It looks so good. And you could sort of see like how it develops, how he's just being a little bit more intuitive with each case study and with each crime and how he's able to decipher. And then the only way to get better is by interviewing serial killers. So they have all these actors like impersonate famous serial killers, which fucking nail it. And in the book, they go through it and what they said and whatnot, and it's horrific because like the level of candor and like the deadpan of just like the tone of like these crime scenes, you're just like Jesus, like you're just going through the most awful stuff.
Like it's nothing.
Um,
There's
like
like,
it's
yeah, I did
nothing.
this, this, and then I did this and this and this, and you're like, fucking Christ.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, okay. But so now that I went through the book and actually saw how the season 1 and 2 progressed, I kind of would like, and it got canceled ever since they were thinking about bringing it back. It's part of the reason I bring it up. But I kind of see how they might progress into a third or fourth season with how they were developing or how he basically went about it in his life. He started off with Ed Kemper because he was the first he ever interviewed. Then he went on to like people like Charles Manson, and other larger serial killers once he just got a little bit more notoriety and a little bit more funding. Um, and then there was like the Atlanta case with the Atlanta Monster. I think that's what he was called. And that's all in season 1 and 2. And in season 2, they really just hit everything. They really give you everything. They're throwing a lot of like serial killer impersonators that really look authentic. And that was part of it. But I forgot. I don't want to give it away in case they actually do it. But I was going through the book. I was like, oh, perfect. They could do this in the next series, move on to this one because I think as the book goes on, the cases become bigger and wider, and he becomes more a little bit more frustrated. But it's more about like his life than anything. So wanted to introduce more books.
Game for
Went
that.
through Yeah, I went through that one. I'm going through another one currently called The Eyes Are the Best Part, which I was recommended from another podcast. And there was one other one I had just done. I can't remember. I can't remember because it wasn't good. I can't remember because this was because of you. Perfect. I was able to do the short story of In the Tall Grass. Um,
Yay.
I was like, oh, I thought it was a book, but no, it was like a short little novella. It was like 100 pages, something like that.
Easy.
Yeah, I think the movie's way better than the book.
I
The book is
I know we talked about it. I loved the movie. I thought it was
the
great.
movie was great.
Yeah.
I think the book is just like book is just scratching the surface. That book is like the first draft of this, like what this movie could have been like 100%.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: the baby does not make it in the book.
Okay.
Baby, no, no, no.
Well, that's tragic. So I see why for a movie they're like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe they filmed it because I know in one of the scenes they kind of allude to like them eating the baby, but it's like a dream sequence.
Yeah.
But also in the movie, they're kind of stuck in this time loop, so who's to say it didn't happen, you
Correct.
know?
And they just
And then she,
exit the time loop that we were introduced to. I don't know.
yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like so nerdy. I was like, there's so many time loops, but like they chose to exit their correct one, which yay.
yeah, no, no, you didn't want to sound nerdy, but you sounded very nerdy, and you were very that's very on point. That
Which
was
is great.
correct.
But yeah, I'm like there was so much shit happening in that graph.
That was good. No, no. Like if we were on Big Bang Theory, the guys would be like, "Oh yeah, she's right." Yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, that was the other one. I got some other ones lined up, so yeah, maybe also introduce it on social media. Because like the one I'm going through now, the eyes are the best part. I'd like to compare it to if you've ever seen the movie Raw. These two are very similar, different cultures, kind of similar, a little bit of a feel. I haven't finished it, so but it's given me that feel. And if you've ever seen the movie Raw, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think that catches us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we're gonna crawl out of our hole
I was gonna
and
say
jump into another
now we're gonna get stuck
and
in a
crawl.
hole.
Yeah, and crawl into another hole. Today we're doing 2021's horror drama, Gone in the Hole. A film that is about a boy who's a coming of age story of a boy who decides to drug his family, stuff him in a hole so he could just live his best life, essentially.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very take of Home Alone.
yeah, that's a good
No,
one.
I mean there's no robbers or anything, but like a boy wishing he didn't have his family.
It's, I mean, it's shot super well.
Yeah,
Like I was looking at all these shots, it's like, and
ton.
there's little to no soundtrack, so the scenes are very sterile and they're very like you're focusing on what is happening because there is no music to distract you or to kind of like weave everything together.
Which I think is beautiful because it fills so much of like it fills the room up with the silence and the psychological part of like what this kid is going through, and then also just the fact that they live in this really secluded woods, so you just sort of yeah, like it's just eerie and it fills up. It's very human. Like this kid doesn't even listen to music himself. He's just like, well, except for like in the car, like the classical music and stuff. But he's just in his home, like it's just dead silent.
Yeah, because he doesn't, because he, I, it's, part of it is because it's his parents are pressuring him so much to do other things,
Mm-hmm.
but also like he hasn't found himself. He doesn't know who he is. He's not a fucking person yet. He's just a
Yeah,
kid, right? So he's not in the. I've been that person.
of
Or I've
course.
been that kid before where like I wasn't listening to any music because I didn't discover what music was for a while, until it's introduced to you by my other siblings, and then you just listen to what they're listening to. But if he doesn't have that close connection with his sister, then he's just playing video games about.
Forced tennis because he's I guess you get the implication that he's going to be some sort of tennis star because his parents are like putting a lot of money into it. My only like look, it's a beautiful watch. It's a nice watch. But I think there are parts that where you have to make up kind of things for yourself. Like I feel like this movie doesn't tell you a whole lot.
Yeah, you could sort of like piece together like,
I have theories.
yeah, let's hear him. But like I feel like you could piece together like, yeah, he's being pressured so much, so he's cracking under pressure, so he he drugs his family just so he can be free of them, and then he doesn't know what to do after he's drugged them, and then he kind of comes back to him at the end. But like, all right, let's hear your theories, and then
Cuz
I'll tell you one I got.
okay, because you do see like his escalation, I guess you could say, and it moves very quickly in that sense. Where like at first he drugs their gardener, and like he's
So
weird about it. Like he goes out to the gardener, he's like, "How was the lemonade?" The gardener's like, "Oh, it's good." He's like, "Did you like it? The lemonade, was it tasty?" And the gardener's like, "Yeah, thanks, John." And we never find out about like the gardener waking up because he doesn't kidnap the gardener. He just watches like to make sure like it works. Like this kid's
yeah,
watching to be like, okay, it does work. And then the gardener just wakes up and carries on his business. But I have a theory that the gardener knows this kid's like fucking weird because he always keeps it pretty like kind with the kid. He's like, "Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Like, have a nice day. All right, yeah, like your risotto sounds really nice. Bye." Like, keep it kind, which is the smart thing to do.
He's also like not. Yeah, okay. I got a little bit of that, but I'm like, well, if you're a gardener working for a rich family, you got to be nice to the kid, or else you're not coming back.
That
You know,
too. But yeah, so you see that, and I mean, it's very interesting that he got three basically adults out into this bunker. I know he used a wheelbarrow, but that's not the point here.
that's you're like you're stretching the truth. Like, well, that's not happening.
I was like, this little lanky fucking
Is
13-year-old was
this
like
kid's maybe 60 pounds?
is dragging Michael C. Hall through the house. Like,
Oh yeah, I was like, how the
and
fuck?
and you don't get a shit ton of Michael C. Hall. You get enough of him though, and I always enjoy him. He's wonderful. And so is the mom, and so is the sister.
I just thought they were so like they were so
Underused, if anything. Like I'm like, you
100%.
got Michael C. Hall.
Give him a little bit much, but yeah, give him something to do. Give him a little bit. I mean, like I figured maybe they shot this in like an afternoon.
Yeah. He was like,
Like,
I have a couple days. I'll go crawl into this hole.
yeah, I do like how they kind of just go tribal and then they just start painting themselves with dirt because they're just losing it.
But I also think there's something really sweet about how the family gets along, even though they're in this hole. Like, and they know their kid put him in there because he's going to the hole and like feeding them every so often, like handing them water, handing them food. And obviously, this risotto is this last meal that like he prepares because he's like proud of himself. He's like, I made risotto. But the family, yeah, they are kind of losing it, but they are enjoying each other's company.
I think this was an interesting take on it because I think too many other movies would be like he comes from a broken home, his parents are a piece of shit, they're forcing all this shit on him, and this is why he's breaking. There's like, no man, this little kid's like a fucking sociopath. Like this little kid's a
Yeah.
fucking like sometimes it's has nothing to do. I mean, that was kind of what we were going through in like in the Mindhunter book. Like there's like a little bit of a trifecta, or there are certain things that would telltale like how somebody might become a killer, or somebody might commit horrible crimes, and then usually a lot of it has to deal with a lot of childhood trauma, and some like head injuries and things like that. But like this kid is just like comes from a like he's very blessed, very privileged, and he's just a little fucking weirdo,
Yeah.
little fucking weirdo doing weird fucking shit. But I like the opposition of his like his family isn't that. His family's fine. Like you said, they get along when the going gets tough. They kind of like stick it together. They don't really turn it. Like you could have had so many scenes of them fighting in the fucking in the hole and all their shit coming out. Like like a real family might do, or an exaggerated version of a horrible family. But no, they didn't do that. It's kind of interesting. But this little kid's fucked up. That's my theory. Well,
Yeah.
my theory is that
No,
this little kid is
he's fucked.
fucked.
Look, if you're here, we're jumping to the ending. Spoilers, please. I mean, but that's what I like how you bring up the Mindhunter thing because the ending is they just go back to normal. They go back to eating their dinner like nothing fucking happened. John lets them out of the hole and they're like, cool, let's go take some showers and just like keep moving on with our lives. And I'm sitting there, what I was thinking on that last scene, which is it's like the family eating dinner, slow zoom out, and you can tell that like the sister looks a little bit unsettled, but they're just
Oh,
trying to
100%.
move they're just trying to move forward. Like, okay, that happened, whatever. I'm like, yo, this is what they're gonna talk about in like 10 years when then he starts killing people. They're gonna be like, yeah, well, there was this one time he put us in a hole. And you're like, what? Like, yeah, he put us in a hole for like a month. Wait, what?
That's actually really really fun. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I feel like always family members of serial killers always have those weird stories when they were younger. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he decapitated cats when he was younger. We just thought it was just him being quirky.
Yeah.
Like,
So I guess
oh my
that
god,
speaks to
yeah.
like the parents' avoidance because they are quite avoidant. Like this kid's 13, and you get the vibe where the parents don't want to like tell him about how like adulthood works in a way, and it's like there's avoidance there. And clearly, when they all go back to like just oh yeah, we're eating dinner, we're just gonna avoid the fact that John put us in a hole.
The so I mean also that is not addressing the fucking root of the problem. Like I feel like much like certain families, like you're just gonna bury all the shit and you're not gonna address it, and it's just gonna probably get worse. The one thing that had me going in this movie was kind of just like I thought he was going to end up killing his family because he just wasn't going to feed them because he just was going to forget because he was just being a little shit, just doing little kid fucking things out in the fucking yard. And I was like, and I kind of understand like going at it the other angle, like how he just wanted to be free of responsibility because I feel like he hasn't been allowed to be a kid.
Yeah.
Like yeah, maybe he gets to play fucking video games and fucking tennis, but his schedule and his regimen is so detailed and so set out for him that he's just like he just can't be a kid. He's not allowed. It doesn't seem like he's just allowed to put a fucking bucket on his head and swing around a stick in the yard because that's like one of the first things he does. When he's got nobody to tell him what to do. He just wanted a break, it seems like.
Yeah.
Oh, poor John.
Poor
But a
yes.
hell of a way to go about it.
How way good about it. Still a child. So yeah, I like that what you said too, because he is still a child, and it's clear that he has too much responsibilities for just being a kid. Because he does do just kid things, really, like orders junk food, invites his friend over, like takes a joyride, and he doesn't like it's not right, obviously, but he's not. Yeah, it's not like I don't know. It's interesting. What did you think about the
I think
whole? Go ahead.
no, no, what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say, what's your take on this whole subplot of the little girl Lily?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
No, going back to yes, I will answer that question. The Going back to how the family goes back to normal at the end, which is like, oh, it's kind of sweet, and the music plays, but you can sort of tell. Like, I would sleep with one eye open. Like, if I had done that to my family at that age, they would have beat the shit out of me so fucking hard. I was expecting Michael C. Hall to come out of that hole and slap John in the fucking face. I was just
Dude, you're
waiting for that shit to
Dexter.
happen. I was, I mean, and if that was, they would have sent that kid off to military school the next fucking day. No way am I sleeping in the same house with that fucking kid. Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of it. You're just asking for it.
Hmm.
His parents gonna get fucking Menendez, 100%.
He's only
Excuse
going
me.
to escalate. Okay, because accountability is so goddamn important. It is so goddamn important. And the fact that the parents are just avoiding it, like he's going to escalate. He's going to go, okay, I got away with that. What do I do next when I don't like what I'm being told to do?
But then he's smart about it because I totally think that the skipping to the end where he lets his parents out and then it looks like he's trying to commit suicide or but he's just playing his pool game
Hmm.
and then his parents thinks that he's dead, so they're like, oh my god. And of course any parent would rather have their kid fucked up or not than not, right?
Then
Regardless
have
of
yeah, then have
all
them
the
commit
fucking
suicide. Yes.
yeah, the regardless of all of the trials and tribulations they put him through. So I'm like that last scene at the end. I think he's just coming to the realization, like, oh shit, like they're happy to see me because I'm not dead. Like, okay, cool. I think I just got away with it. I think it just skirted around being grounded.
I
Um, Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. We call that life.
life.
My daughter was throwing a crazy hissy fit, and I had to stop recording. And we had to like go out and go to the park and just to explore stuff, just to settle her down.
That life.
Yeah, we have I have very limited time when it comes to recording. I usually got like 1 solid hour before she starts to lose it. So we're picking up where we left off. Thank you, Courtney, for being patient with me. And we're going back to John and the Hole, or at least whatever is left of us talking about John and the Hole.
We're not going to leave you guys
So,
hanging.
so last where we left off, there was John and there was a hole. The Courtney was asking me about. Apparently, there's like a parallel storyline that is introduced. I want to say 60% of the movie, and if I remember correctly, it was introduced way later in the movie,
Yes.
where there's a little girl and a mom. And I'm just like, and I thought these were neighbors at one point. I'm like, oh, this must be like the neighbor, like they're gonna like. And then the mom asks the daughter, like, oh, like, do you want me to tell you the story about John in the Hole again? And you're like, okay, so maybe this is all like a fairy tale, and they're talking about John in the Hole, which would be like, okay, kind of cool, like it could work out that way. And then our whole story is a story within a story, much less. But then we don't even get to that part. Like then we're given 3 parts of it. Then the second part, the mom fucking loses it, right? Which is
Yeah.
like I guess the most interesting part, and she's just like, "You're 11 years old now." I forgot what the daughter's name is. Let's call her Anne, whatever.
I think it was Lily. I could be wrong too. But yeah, it was like something
Yeah,
like you're 11. And she's like, I'm 13 or something. And she's like, yeah, you're old enough to be on your own. And just bounces. Just
okay,
leaves.
like really scary shit.
Yeah. Like, you have enough
Like
money to pay for rent for this amount of time and like basically figure it out. Like,
you have enough money for 1 year, and in
yeah.
1 year you have to figure out your shit. And it's not like they don't look homeless, and the mom doesn't look like she's on drugs. Just like a really weird turn of events, and it's just like you got to figure it out. You have $50,000, something like that, which good on her for raising that money for her. But just like, yeah, if you make it last and you don't squander it, you can survive for a year, and then good luck to you.
Yeah.
Just like, and I, as a child, like that's a real fear for as a child. As a child, like sometimes you're afraid that your parents are just not coming back.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
it's just one of those little kid things, like what am I going to do like with the rest of my life, and for some reason this played out for Lily, which we're not explained why,
Like, so I don't know if the parallel maybe, like, I know I was gonna like ask you it, and like, how can these two stories kind of intertwine, except for the whole fact when she's like, let me sit down and tell you about John in the hole. And so, yeah, like it brings up being like, maybe this is her telling this story, like, like fake, I don't know. But then it was
that
like,
would have made sense.
it would have made sense. But then I kept thinking, like, so maybe this is like the version of what John really wanted. Like, he wanted to be all left on his own and he wanted his own life and not have parents. But then I think I read online that there was a theory that John was actually adopted by that family, and then that John and like Lily were siblings, and that story that she's telling the daughter is like a warning of being like, this is what happened to you. I don't know. Like, that was a weird, far-fetched like fan theory, but it was interesting because there's no resolve. Like, you don't learn anything else about these two characters, and it doesn't ever intertwine with John and his family.
It's like we just needed a little bit more if they wanted to tie it together. And then like you said, then we find out that John doesn't really want to be alone. Like it's one of those child fantasy things, which is probably a little bit more to the theme of this movie. Like he gets what he wants, kind of like a dog chasing a car, doesn't know what to do with it. And then once he gets it, he doesn't really want it because now he's alone. He doesn't have his family because he relies on his family much more than he thinks he does because he took it for granted. And that's what little kids do. That's fine. I was like that, like you don't know what you got until it's gone. And he literally forced it down a hole. But the Lily thing just didn't click. And I want to know if it's like more like having to do with the writer. So we never talk about this, and this was kind of like burying the lead a little bit. But the writer who wrote John the Hole was Nicolas Giacobone. I don't know if he's Italian or Spanish, but homie wrote Beautiful, which is like an amazing movie that people love. And then he also wrote Birdman, the Michael Keaton one. So like the guy's got like chops. So I'm just like, is it one of those things that are we just not smart enough to get it, or one of those things, or just like it just, or maybe it was, yeah, or maybe it was some parts were edited out, because at the end of it, we have Lily walking through the forest, and I thought like maybe she was gonna come across John's house or something. Or the hole, and it kind of looks like she's going to come across the hole for a second.
Yeah. But it's not shown. And I think I read somewhere too that like the writer, Nicholas, who you're talking about, I think specifically never said anything about it. And maybe that was like his whole point, to be like, yeah, whatever, it's left for everyone's interpretations, which is fine. Because like it's because we
Not
get
much
to
to interpret.
It's not much to interpret. Like, we get to the ending, and like you said, like John just lets his family out. It's just like, cool, I guess I've realized. Now we know that this kid's a fucking sociopath. I think we're gonna get to that point where it's like, yeah, every single kid has those those dreams of being like, I wish I didn't have my parents and I had everything, but I could do whatever I want and order junk food and play video games. Then yeah, after like a week of that, you're like, wait a second, like this, it's not as what I thought. But for him to actually go through that whole thing is quite alarming. And then the ending scene is them just having dinner. Like the kid is not held, there's no accountability whatsoever. And I think I mentioned to you last time before we got cut off, like that final scene where it's just like this slow zoom out of them eating dinner, like la di da. You can tell the sister is like, I'm unsettled that this kid is still
Fuck
like
yeah.
in the house. Like we're just acting like this kid is like everything's fine.
If I'm that kid's sibling, like I'm never trusting that kid ever again. As soon as I turn 18, moving away and, you know, keeping as far a distance, see them twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Yeah.
and just like focus on you, earn your money, stay away from your family. Fuck that.
Yeah, because
Because
the
like,
parents are like just as bad in this scenario too. Like, there's no accountability. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna move past this and avoid, avoid, avoid. Whoa, you guys are digging your own hole now. Maybe that's what we're supposed.
hey, oh, yeah,
That's what we're
could have
supposed to
been.
like. I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe the hole was the metaphor. Maybe
Oh,
that's what we meant.
it's actually a metaphor this
Shit.
whole time.
Yeah, fuck. Maybe the hole was the metaphor. That's the title of the episode.
And I think we like mentioned last time too, like, or maybe it didn't make it this far, but how the three of them, when they were trapped in the hole, the family, they were getting along. Like, it was so kind of, it was heartwarming to see those three like actually laughing and like kind of playing games with one another and just trying to make the best of this really fucking weird situation.
That was, yeah, and I think I mentioned it last time. It was nice to see that family, like, because it would have been really easy to pit the family against each other, because that's what we expected. But they kind of like, they do kind of like
Rallied.
rally together, and they kind of like, but and maybe that's just more of it. Like they realize like John made a mistake. They almost lost John, or they seemingly almost lost John when they actually get out of the hole, or John lets them out of the hole. And then they're just like, they'd rather have John than, you know, they'd rather have like a really messed up kid than no kid at all. But I think we mentioned that. I mentioned that last week. So, you know, I think if they hadn't come across John like floated in the pool, I think they completely would have sent that fucking kid off to some fucking private school in fucking
I still think
Europe.
they should have
And
sent him off. I would have like, that would not have gone down. Like, so simple.
but you know he's going to therapy the next day. You know, like
Yeah.
mom and dad aren't having it. Like
No.
the kid's gonna go, and it's not even like, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but like that was his only kind of tendency, or like lashing out, was just the drugging of the parents, and then just kind of denying them food and water for a little bit.
Just the drugging.
Just the drugging,
Just
because
denying food and water.
but like other than that, like he, you know, when he's out on his
Good
own, he
kid.
doesn't. I thought he was gonna do some like more weird stuff. I thought he was gonna kill his friend.
True.
I thought he
There
was
was
gonna go to
killing friend
school and
vibes
like,
there.
oh, 100%, or like maybe accidentally kill. Oh yeah, I forgot
The
about that.
drowning.
Oh yeah, it's just like drowning. But
Pretending
like
to drown each other.
I also played games like that when I was like younger, like,
Yeah,
you know, in the
exactly.
pool.
So there is that level, but like we know these things about John. We're like, no, he has these tendencies. Like he might actually drown his friend. Like, yes, as children, we all did that shit.
We just didn't drug our parents and stick them in a hole.
We just didn't drug our parents and put them in a hole, even though we probably thought about it when we were pissed. Like the whole like, I'm running
No,
away. I'm running away.
right. There is a good anecdote. I know we were talking about family earlier, before we started recording. Ming's mom did, like, Ming did try to run away once, and her mom was like, okay, so she packed her like a lunch in a suitcase. Like, here you go. I'll
Bye.
see you later, bye. You know, and of course, you know, it didn't work like Ming wanted to. I think she was like something like 13 or something.
My sister and I ran away once too. I can't remember. I can't remember how old. I was younger. I want to say I was like 4 or 5. So making my sister like 7 or 8. And all we did was run up to like this park up the street and just like played for a while. But what we didn't do is like, obviously we didn't let our parents know where we were going. We just left. And then when we got back, we were in trouble.
Oof.
They're pissed. I remember being like in a timeout. They were pissed.
I similarly did something like that. I think before I was in, I forgot what, I don't know, sometime in elementary school. We kind of lived in a closed complex, and they had like a playground and things like that. And I just like, like before sunset or around sunset time. I just kind of hid in the park. And like, mind you, this isn't a very big complex. You know, it's maybe just like half a square block. Everybody knows each other. You know, I had a bunch of friends living like, and everybody was like searching for me. And I just kind of stayed hidden because I thought it was kind of funny. Like my family came out, everybody was calling my name, and I was just like, "Oh, this is hilarious." You know, kind of like just being like a little prankster. And apparently, they were really worried. They got really fucking scared.
They're
And it
like,
was like,
shit.
and I was fucking grounded for a while. I think it kind of like put this precedence where I didn't leave the house very much after for a
I think
while.
I think it just comes with a very maybe natural feeling of being like, do they even care about me? Like you just feel so like maybe it's just like too many rules, da da da. Like they don't even care. Maybe do they even care? I'm just gonna leave. Would they even notice? And it's like, yeah.
You guys even fucking? I mean, like, yeah, I've definitely heard of that before, but like, no, they cared about me
Somebody
because I
knows.
heard them. They were like, they were looking
I know,
hard,
but
and
you
I
were
was
just
like,
like, you're like, this is hilarious. I'm a prankster, and all of a sudden you're like, oops.
they were. My sister was super fucking mad. All right, but going back to John in the Hole, and
So
I don't
maybe
know if I
that's like
remember it.
where John was like his head was at, but like it's like you still drugged your parents. You still
That's a good
dragged them into a hole.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe it's just like, yeah, does anybody even fucking care about me? Like, do they even care? Because like, yeah, just he just kind of seemed like he was a fucking robot. He just did he did his schoolwork. He went to tennis. He played fucking tennis on fucking the TV or whatever video game, and it's just like just over and over again. Yeah, they were kind of like, yeah, maybe they were putting a little pressure on me. And he just kind of fucking broke.
Too scheduled
But
for a child, perhaps. You know how people will do that? Just like your kids, just your day scheduled, da 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 da. And it's like you do need to actually give them time to just sit with who they are. That's quite an important thing. So
I guess.
you're like, I guess. You're like, anyway, Alora, you're gonna have this, 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 this.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely a couple things I want to put her in, like you know, I want her to be like more active than I was because like I was active, but then like my attention deficit just kind of like led me into different directions, and I think I just needed somebody to be like, no, you just need to like you're bored now, but let's just stick with it for a little while longer, you know,
Yeah.
before you move on to the next thing, because you know because your attention's gonna and then you're gonna want to go back to it eventually.
What my parents always did, which I liked, was if I signed up for a sport, I had to do it the whole season. So no matter what, like I couldn't just be like, "Oh, I'm sick of this." Like, nope, you finish the season, and if at the end of the season
Yeah,
you decide that you don't want to do this sport anymore, then you're not going to do it next year. And
yeah, that's fine.
it's like I'm like that's good. It teaches your kid like when you make a commitment, you have to stick to it.
Yeah. But the one thing I would say about John the Hole was just that, and I can't remember if we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were first recording. So I'm just gonna reiterate it again, just like fucking shot beautifully. Like
Gorgeous.
it carries the movie a lot, just being able to like watch this, like the fucking beautiful scenes, like everything is just fucking so exquisitely composed. And then I didn't even realize it, but like most of the movie there is no music except for when he plays music or when he plays
Yeah.
music in the car. Only at the end where I got really fucking weird vibes, like the fucking ominous fucking music, because I'm like, oh, they're having dinner, but it like I fully expected John to just poison them again.
Yeah. It's
Like, see,
that
that's how
roasted
uncomfortable
chicken.
John made us. Like,
Yes.
we as the audience didn't even trust him afterwards. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that, you know,
Great
without it
acting from that
being,
kid.
yeah, without being like a overly horrific movie. Yeah, the kid really fucking unsettled us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, real kids are scary. Oh, shit.
Maybe listen to your kids. I don't know. Like,
You definitely got the feeling that the parents were really caught up in their own shit because, you know, maybe they were very successful and their kids were more trophies and extensions of themselves other than like kids, you know?
yeah. Again, doesn't excuse this kid's behavior by any means, but maybe that's what this movie is showing.
Yeah.
Because it is very easy to be like frustrated with that ending. Like, if you're like, what? Like,
why is Lily walking in the fucking field?
Oh, this chick again? Like, forgot that she was even part of this movie.
Yeah, at one point I thought like Lily was like her mom was scared of her because whatever Lily thought up would come true or something like that. And I was like, oh, is this a fucking fantastical movie?
Yeah.
Like Lily imagines it and it happens. You know, I'm like, oh, maybe that's why her mom's scared of her when she's leaving her, and that's why she tells her the story of John in the Hole. And John in the Hole is
Yeah.
taking place, whatever. But yeah. You had any final thoughts, Courtney, before we wrap this one up?
Other than just like, I would recommend people watching it just based on what we talked about, the fact that it is stunning to watch and it's really interesting that there is no music, so you get the eeriness of it. I think it's very well casted. It obviously has my favorite, Michael C. Hall, aka Dexter, but I think it's a solid watch. Like, I feel like when you see that name John in the Hole like pop up, I know I was that person, like, what is this? And then so I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed it.
I had seen the poster pop up. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I think it was a little. There's a couple of movies with kids in holes. Like was it that Paul Rudd movie Little Evil? I think like the kid falls in a hole and he comes out different, but it's like a comedy. There is one, I think it's called Hole, where it's very similar. Where I think that one's like Irish or Scottish, and like again, like a boy's in the woods, he falls in a hole, and his parents find him, and then like the kid's not the same kid that comes back. I think that one's like maybe like has like a little changing folklore.
Yeah, that's like little changeling.
I saw this one like when I was a little kid, and it really fucking stuck with me. The Pit, 1981, a Canadian horror movie where a kid finds a pit like in his neighborhood that is filled with little fucking monsters, and he decides to fucking wreak havoc on his town by blackmailing his fucking neighbors, feeding the monsters his fucking friends. Like, it's fucking a weird one.
I need to
Like,
revisit that. I need to revisit
it's kind
it.
of, yeah, and the monsters look like little fucking Ewoks with red eyes. Like, it is like, it doesn't look great, but it's kind of fun, except for the whole fucked up part about the watching it back then, that kind of fucking disturbed me. Yeah, that was, and I saw that in the 90s, and I was like, something's not right about this. It's weird. Yeah, and yeah, we can revisit that one. And those are the only ones that come to mind. Yeah, with kids and ominous holes in the forest. There you go.
It's an ominous holes. What a weird horror genre.
Yeah, right.
What a weird horror subgenre. The kids in holes. I guess we
again. No.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So as far as our rating meter here at the Wrong Term Podcast, it's at least watch once. Movie John in the Hole.
There we go.
2021.
You know. At least give it a watch. I think it's on Tubi still, so it's free.
Yeah, and Tubi's for some reason, doing the Lord's work. Just like all these free movies really on Tubi. Like,
I'm a big fan of Tubi.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you guys next time.